Hi everyone, this is Akshay. I hope you're able to hear me fine. So, good evening to one and all who are attending this webinar. I think we are at 4 o'clock. We'll just maybe wait for a couple of more minutes for more people to join in. Meanwhile, I just want to express my gratitude on all the people who've registered. To be honest, we were overwhelmed by, we've had more than 150 organizations signing up for the webinar. And we are truly grateful for all of you to be part of that. And we hope we can deliver something of high value by the end of 1 hour. So with no further ado, I think we can get started as we have planned a lot for this webinar. So a little bit of introduction about myself before I start is my name is Akshay. I run an organization called EdZola, which is organizing this webinar. My personal introduction would be, so ever since childhood, I was passionate about computer science and used to love computer science as a kid. So I fell in love with technology right from my grade two, and I started my career as a software engineer with Zoho. And somewhere I wanted to work in the education sector. I wanted to enter the social sector, and that's when I joined Teach for India Fellowship, and I was teaching in a government school in Chennai. And of all the problems that I faced during the fellowship, one of the things which I definitely did leverage on was using technology to create more development outcomes. And through the 2 years of fellowship, I learned that there is a huge divide in technology and impact-driven organizations, and that was one of the reasons of me starting up EdZola after my fellowship to help organizations with digital transformation and help them make technology accessible and equitable for all. And I'm also part of was a participant of Jagrati Yatra and Unison Youth Fellowship. Unison Youth is a social business fellowship, and we were one of the three Indians to be part of the cohort. So that's a small introduction about myself. So um, with that, I'll also give a small intro of what EdZola is. So EdZola was, as I was saying, was born with a vision of bridging the gap between technology and impact-driven organizations. And we've been here for more than 2.5 years now, and we worked with over 20 nonprofits, worked on 50 plus projects. And since we do not work directly at the grassroots level, our impact is indirect, and we indirectly impacted over 100K beneficiaries. So how exactly do we bridge this gap, right? So we provide awareness, we provide need-based consulting, we help with design and development of solutions, we provide implementation, training, and support. And also, one of the things which we don't stop with implementation, but there are a lot of problems which technology can solve, right? So we take latest technologies, do research and development of that, let's say AI or augmented reality or VR in education. So take some of these latest technologies and see how those can be leveraged to create transformational impact. So this is what EdZola's vision is. And currently, our ecosystem or our universe looks like this. So our work broadly classifies into these buckets. We provide awareness. We also run a program called Zoho for Social Startups, where we provide free credits to Zoho startups to leverage Zoho, which is something that we'll definitely be covering in this webinar as well. It's a fairly new partnership that we've done with Zoho. Second division is consultation. Consultation is where we help organization understand their technology stack and their data stack and help them streamline with a broad range of recommendations. And we also consult on Zoho. So we have been partnered with Zoho since 2020, and we also do Zoho consultation and implementation for organizations, which will be the core focus of this webinar as well. And then we build custom MIS solutions for nonprofits to run their end-to-end operations. We have a fintech platform built to basically streamline finance processes of nonprofits. So be it fundraising, donation receipts, or fund utilization reports. That is something that we've done. And a third one is a fairly new initiative called Climos, where we want to help organizations take climate action. So that's a platform to bridge corporate CSRs and nonprofit organizations to take better climate action, have their data in one place. So these are the three divisions of work we do. And the last one is research and development. So currently we are experimenting on an AI framework called GPT-3, which is an auto content generation framework. And we also have delved deep in chatbots. So how can we use chatbots as a way to increase impact? So these are some of our research areas that is currently ongoing. So our theory of change, what we believe in is, you know, so we work with nonprofits on cutting edge social problems. And with that, when we work with them, when we technology empower nonprofits, there is clear data management. There is, a lot of time saved in automation. Organizations will be able to take data-driven decisions and also will be able to achieve growth in scale. And that's our theory of change as well. And so far, we've worked with these are some of the broad spectrum of organizations that we've worked both in India and abroad. And one of our biggest partners and our claim to fame as well is Nudge Foundation. So we are technology partners of Nudge Foundation, where we worked with them for more than 1.5 years now, empowering most of their digital programs. So and a few of the organizations which might be familiar as well. Yeah, with that, I think we'll quickly jump to the topic for this webinar. So a few house rules is, so we plan this webinar for around 50 minutes and 10 minutes for Q&A. So we hope to complete it, wrap this up in 1 hour. All the participants will be on mute during the duration of the webinar. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, etc., you can ask in the Q&A tab. The Q&A tab will be always open during the webinar. And I have Shiny from my team, who is also part of this call. So she'll be answering some of the queries while the webinar is happening. And if there are more questions, I'll be answering them towards the end of this webinar. So with that, can we jump to the today's webinar? Can I get a thumbs up from you guys if you can proceed? Awesome. Thank you, folks. So today, what we are going to cover is basically 5 stages. So one will be introducing the Zoho Creator platform. For those of you who've been not familiar with, we'll be giving an introduction about the Zoho Creator platform, and then different stages of how M&E data stack looks like, and how do you leverage Creator for the same. So that would be a combination of 2 and 3 will be a combined, where we'll be discussing the stages in M&E, and we'll also be discussing how to leverage Creator for the same. And the fourth bucket is case studies, where we will be discussing a lot of use cases and case studies of how different organizations are leveraging Zoho Creator currently. And 5 is being in this ecosystem, we also want to make sure that technology is not a very exorbitant cost for nonprofits, but also how do we make sure the entry barrier for technology is lowered for nonprofits. So we try to find discounts and offers for nonprofits to leverage platforms better. So with that, we have 3 opportunities even within the Zoho ecosystem, where we provide discounts for nonprofits. So those 3 opportunities is also something that we'll be sharing towards the end. And one thing which I'd like to also establish here is, so we are a Zoho authorized partner since 2020, and that gives us one of the reasons why we are partnered with Zoho in like from license procurement, discounts, etc. We have a lot of benefits that is tied with this partnership as well. So that's why we are conducting this webinar. And before we start, I think we'll start with a quick poll as well, because there, since we have founders of nonprofits to people who are working in M&E to some students as well, the range of audience is different. So we want to take a quick poll to understand where our audience stand in terms of understanding about Zoho Creator currently, so that I can pace my session accordingly. So Shiny, may I request you to launch the poll of yes. Awesome. Uh, Hi, folks. So there is a poll on your screen. So it'd be great if you can vote. Awesome. Great. We've 70% of the participants have voted. Still waiting for a few more. We'll maybe wait for 10 more seconds for participants to quickly vote. Oh, right. Uh, it's an interesting result. I'll share it. Okay, so we'll wait maybe 10 more seconds for the poll to wrap up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I'm just going to publish this result to all of you on the screen. So if you see, most of them are in the first or second row. You have no idea about Zoho or Zoho Creator, um, and I've heard about it or not explored it further. So that's where 80% of our participants currently fall. Thank you, folks. This will make sure I give a very broad understanding of what Zoho is as well, what Zoho Creator is, and also then deep dive. Thank you for that. So now proceeding further, throughout this webinar, I'll be taking the case of Ava. So Ava is a fictional character whom we've created for this webinar. So Ava is 25 years old, passionate to work in the social sector, who's extremely, like passionate about social causes. Currently teaches in an education-based nonprofit, let's say any nonprofit which is there, and always finds ways to deliver excellent education. So she goes to schools, she goes to community centers, she teaches children, and she wants to make sure children get access to quality education to make sure they are, beating the cycle of poverty. So this is Ava, and Ava has a guardian angel called Zola. So whenever Ava is stuck with challenges, she'll approach Zola, who will guide her with the necessary steps to be taken. So throughout this webinar at different stages, we'll seeing Ava and her challenges and what is going on in her mind as well. So yeah, this is Ava for you guys. So jumping right off to what Zoho is, right? So maybe I'll spend a few minutes on what Zoho is. So Zoho is a software company. It's a product-based company based out of India, and they have developed over 45 plus products to cater to the business ecosystem. So if you're a business, if you're a company running, and if you have to manage your operations, all of the processes which are required to manage your business are automated by Zoho's product. For example, from CRM to manage your sales processes, to finance suite to manage your accounting processes, to your email, to analytics. So they have a suite of 45 plus applications, and any processes in your organization can be automated with the help of Zoho. And why we specifically, like some of the things which why we love Zoho, very this is could be EdZola's reasons as well. Is, one is socially conscious company, a lot of initiatives and support that we've received in Zoho to help social purpose organizations. It's an end-to-end customizable. All the products are not rigid, and they are customizable, and that's why, right, even one of the things is if you're using Zoho CRM for your sales process, you can customize it and use Zoho CRM for your donation management process as well. So we've already done a webinar on how Zoho can be helpful for nonprofits in a separate a few months back. So Shiny can post the link maybe after this webinar, so that where we covered in depth on what are the products of Zoho and how they could help nonprofits. In this webinar, we are going to specifically cover only Zoho Creator, which is one of the products what Zoho offers. And Zoho has a very big focus on R&D, and that's why we were able to continuously innovate and problem solve for better use cases. So that's about Zoho. And I think during pandemic, whatever Zoho's founder Sridhar Vembu has been doing has been very popular with his work in government schools in Tirunelveli, Tenkasi areas. So that is how most of the people know Zoho. But Zoho is a 25-year-old company. So it was not built over a day. It's a 25-year-old company, bootstrapped and profitable. So that's about Zoho. And Zoho has around 80 million users currently. And Next is Zoho Creator. So Zoho Creator is a end-to-end digital platform to manage all your organization's data. So it's a development platform where you can develop your own applications, and any use case that you have, right? You can simply create an application with ease in Zoho Creator. So even now you can just Google Zoho Creator, create an account, and you can install any of the applications from the app gallery and try to use them. It's as simple as that. So making development easier and simple is what Zoho Creator's vision is. And I would with confidence say that it's the most powerful development platform right now, with the power it gives, and also powerful in even in terms of accessibility. So even it is very cost effective is why one of the reasons why I would say Zoho Creator is very powerful. It's trusted by over 20,000 organizations and has around 6 million plus users, Zoho Creator. And what makes Zoho Creator great is they have a form builder where you can create your own custom forms, where all the data which is being collected can be collected using online forms. Then you have a workflow builder where you can build customized workflows and automate most of your processes. And then with the data which is being collected, you can create reports where you can analyze the data which is being collected or present it. And then you can build dashboards or pages where you can track your KPIs, monitor your programs effectively. And then you can, it's only not only, within whatever data which Zoho Creator currently has, but you can also integrate it with third parties, like say WhatsApp or Zoom or any application that your organization currently uses. If you want to integrate, that is also possible. So Zoho Creator 6.0 is the latest version of Zoho Creator, which is a combination of three powerful platforms. So earlier Creator 5, where you can only build applications, and then Zoho Flow. Zoho Flow is where you can, similar to Zapier, where you can connect to different applications, one application to another. Let's say when someone signs up through this form, create a meeting link in Zoho meetings or Zoom meetings. So that is example of a workflow where you can automate most of these workflows with drag and drop functionality. And Analytics is a data visualization platform similar to Google Data Studio or Power BI, where you can create your own dashboards. So Zoho Creator 6.0 is a combination of all this, where you build once and it is immediately cross-platform. When I say immediately cross-platform, you can work in multiple devices. It allows multiple integration. You can have any number of flows. You can create your own analytics and dashboards, and you can also create bots to perform repetitive tasks. And Zoho Creator is currently used in across industries. So from startups to enterprise, from retail to from retail to IT services to hospitality, even in terms of vertical function from customer service to operations. And nonprofits is a small use case there where we'll be covering in this webinar is, so nonprofits also leverage Zoho Creator. And as far as we know, there are more than 500 nonprofits who currently use Zoho Creator, and there could be many more whom we do not know as well. So that's the scale of organizations which are leveraging Zoho Creator currently, which is a powerful end-to-end digital platform to automate most of your processes. So with that, we are slowly moving to the next segment of the webinar, where we'll be discussing different stages of M&E. But I just want to make sure, are we all good? If you can give me a show of thumbs up, or if there is, if the pace is okay, just give me a thumbs up. If there is any question, you can put it. If there are immediate questions, I'll answer them in the chat as well. Awesome. Great to see someone thumbs up. Awesome. So next, right, we'll be moving on to different stages of this thing. So I understand that the introduction of creator, like if you've not seen, it could be technical, but this is something that most of us understand working in a nonprofit, right? So any stages in our uh, data collection processes, we will have all of these stages in place. So this is what we call as the data stack in monitoring and evaluation, where we split the data flows into four segments. One is the stage where we collect the data. Second stage is the way we store the data in a place which is consistent, not redundant, not repetitive, and in a safe place. And then we process data and we aggregate data in a place, and then we analyze the data. So this is where we categorize the data stack into 4 segments: data collection, data storage, data processing, and analytics, visualization and analytics. So this, and even in this webinar, we'll be going deep into these 4 stages and see how Creator as a platform can be leveraged against each of these. So first is data collection. So often, right, having worked with over 20 nonprofits in the last 2 years, one of the things that we've learned as a very important lesson is when an organization knows all the data that they need to collect, right, it is 80% of the job done. Forget technology, forget anything, right, forget any system in place. Just identifying all the data in a very structured manner is most of the work done. So how do you identify what needs to be collected or what data needs you need, right? So this is where we'll be thinking from Eva's point of view, as well as, I'll give a brief on what each of these stages mean. So first stage of that is identifying indicators. So I'm sure many of you here will be familiar of the log frame framework, which most monitoring and evaluation frameworks, which is used by nonprofits in India. So indicators are basically our progress to goals, right? So we have our inputs and activities, which will lead direct to our outputs, and these outputs are measured by indicators of progress, which would then lead to outcomes. So indicators are what we want to measure as a result for progress. So we identify, so an organization can have any number of indicators, but it's important that we break down into a number of indicators and decide data points for each of them. So first step is identifying indicators. If you take Ava's case, right, so Ava is currently struggling to increase her students' performance in assignments. So she's trying out a new system, new way of pedagogy, where she wants to maximize the learning outcomes of children. So she's taking classes in a different way, but she wants to know whether it is working or not. So she wants to measure the growth of students who've learned. So that's what she wants to measure. So that's her indicator. And for her, identifying data point, right? So if she wants to measure growth of a student, and if she wants to also know that if it's because of this program which the growth is happening, then what are the data points that she would need, right? So one, she would need a baseline data where she would collect data from she would want to understand how the students are performing currently for the same level of exams or assessments or the concept which is there. And then after the program, she would do one more level of test to see where the progress has been. So she'll take a baseline level of data and an endline level of data. And if this alone is not enough, right? So baseline endline data should be related with student databases as well. So she'll be, she'll be collecting student data and then sometimes school as well if she's doing this across different schools. And if she is doing it across different classrooms, even that needs to be mapped. So she'll be identifying the data points, and then she's trying to identify the relationships between the data. For example, if you see what is common between a baseline assessment and an endline assessment, just a moment for all of us to think. So I'm having two assessments. One is baseline and endline. And if you think of what are the common elements in both of these, a few will immediately recognize that, like you have student details, which is common. You have a student name, class, subject, name, class, subject, which is common across both of them. So that is where we identify the relationship of what is the relationship between these data. And then how is this data collected? So this mode of collection is very important because different cases, different ways of data collection will happen. Today we are talking about education where assessments can be taken, but imagine going into a rural area where there is no access to internet, right? There we can't probably use a mobile phone, or we need a application which works entirely offline. In some cases where people cannot read, let's say if people cannot read or this thing, you might want to do a telephonic survey. You will want to do a survey which is on telephone. And for someone who's working at a very huge scale, let's say 1 million farmers, there you might want to try reaching out to the beneficiaries via WhatsApp. So mode of collection is how we are collecting that data. So different use cases, different ways of collection, but it's important for us to identify how the data, what will be the best way for us to collect the data. Next is when is the data collected. So when I say when is the data collected, how often we collect the data and what is the frequency of collecting the data. And the last one is who's collecting the data. So the person who is designing the survey will not be the person who's collecting the data. So who will be collecting the data? Is there anything that we need to do additionally to help the person collect the data? For example, if say we are collecting surveys in a rural and we have field staff who are going to rural areas and collecting, would we want to have the survey in regional language for them to easily accessible? So that's why understanding who's collecting the data is important. And next is analyze. Who wants to see that data? So we are collecting the data, but next, who will want to analyze this data? So in our case, Eva's case, Eva would want to first see the data to see if it is working, but Eva would also want to report her to her program manager or her program lead to say this is working and can we try it out to different programs or different classrooms. So that is why this is important. And um, this is how Eva is thinking, and she comes up with this indicator. So, sorry, she comes up with this data steps. So, her indicator is growth of student mastery. Her data points are baseline score and endline score. A relationship or assessment type. So assessment type here is baseline is a type of assessment. So tomorrow, if you want an midline assessment, there is option for you to have an in a midline assessment as well. So assessment type and database. And Ava is deciding to do the assessment via forms. And before and after program intervention is something that Ava will be collecting this data, and she'll be pro teachers and the program staff will be collecting this data and will be analyzed by program manager and leads. So this is a simple table, and for a non-profit with across programs, I understand this could be complicated, right? But it's important for us to know what data needs to be collected and how it is meaningful at every stage so that we'll be able to better design. So now that we have one indicator and one progress, now what Eva thinks is what is my different ways of collecting this data. So I'll touch base a little bit on like different ways of collecting the data. One is SMS, another is IVR, that is via telephony, WhatsApp, phone, or any data collection tools. So the factors which would determine how what is the medium that you should choose is what is the literacy rates of your audience, what is the target audience age, is it internet availability is there? What is your budget? What is the number of questions that you want to collect? For example, if it's a self-serve survey where you're sending out and expect the participants to be filling it, then the number of questions should be extremely low. And if you have a, let's say a 20, 30 questions survey, then I think it's better to do it over a 1 hour qualitative phone call than over a form. So these are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. And type and nature of the data is qualitative or quantitative. So do we need qualitative evidences of data or do we need quantitative evidences? And most of our data for analytics, which would be required, is needs to be quantifiable in some way or the other. But we will need qualitative data for storytelling, where they are very powerful voices that we need to capture. So a survey should capture both of this at any point. So how do you leverage Zoho Creator for this, right? So Zoho Creator as a platform has different data types which is pre-configured, and you can just drag and drop and create your forms. It is that simple, where you can just click what is the data that you want to collect and drag and drop so that you can collect your survey. You can design your survey, or if it's assessment, you can enter your assessment. And an important part where, like just like Google Forms, this is also a form. But a few differences here is this is an integrated application, right? So when you're creating here, you can also reference data from other tables. So when Eva is currently creating a baseline score or an endline score assessment, she is referencing to student data. So what this means is the student data is not duplicated here again, but instead reference, so that every time a student updates her initial or phone number, it is automatically reflected in the baseline endline score. So there is no data duplication. So this is a very easy, intuitive way of creating uh, database forms. And next is even if you have integrations, right? So if your data source is not forms, if you're saying data sources, let's say a telephony or WhatsApp or anything, any other platform, right? You can create integration flow easily where if someone sends a WhatsApp message, push it to Creator. So you can create a workflow which is again drag and drop where you can create logic where to say, okay, this is my application source, and this is what I want to do once the data is submitted. For example, if a student is saying my baseline score is 60, then I want to record this data in some other way. So that is what integration will really help us with. And Zoho Creator as a platform offers 600 plus ready to use integrations and contextual workflows so that it's powerful for any organizations to immediately leverage that. Um, and next, jumping on to data storage bit. So now we're thinking about data collection, and all of us have familiarity in, we worked with forms, we worked with Kobo, we worked with Survey CTO. But then one of the things which gets really tricky or really, difficult is a confusion which most nonprofits have, and something that Ava also has, which is, where is my data stored? Is my data safe? Is it secure? Will someone steal my data? I'm storing, confidential information like Aadhaar card, PAN card of my beneficiaries, and I'm storing what is the scholarships or the funds dispersed to them. I don't want anyone to leak this data. Will my data again be spread into different spreadsheets? So that, or will it be as an integrated system where if I edit in one place, it will automatically reflect? For example, I change the beneficiary name in one form. Will it automatically reflect in all the support that we provided them through the years, or will it reflect the correct name, or should I go to every sheet and change it? And also, can everyone see everyone's data, or is it only the data that I've entered I should see, I'm able to see? Will I be able to restrict it? Because in Google Sheet, everyone has access to data, and if I want my trainers to see only their data, I'm creating separate filters or separate copies of sheet, which is creating data duplication. I don't want to do that. So Ava is now thinking, and at this point, she's very confused, um, and she needs someone to help her. And whenever Eva is stuck, right, she goes to Zola, and Zola gives her a solution to say, this is how you can store your data, or this is how you can do it. And so next, Zola will like guiding Eva through data storage. So one of the first things that nonprofits need to do is think your organization data as a database and not as a spreadsheet. So the difference is very simple here. A spreadsheet is a flat relationship which has no relationship with other spreadsheets, or your data is duplicated. Whereas a database is an interconnected set of sheets which talks to one another. So your student database talks to your assessment data, your beneficiary data talks to your scholarships provided, your health data contributes to treatment. So everything is an integrated system where each of your data will talk to one another. So first we need to think of this like an integrated system where data needs to talk to one another. And second is to ensure a single source of truth. So an organization's data needs to flow unanimously from the point where it is collected at source till destination. Imagine I'm doing a field survey today, right? The data which I'm collecting is analyzed by a block level or a field level staff, and then comes to the program managers who will then analyze the data. And the same data is going into program leads, and program leads are then presenting it to organization leads, and organization leads would then report to data to the donors as well. So if you see, it is the same set of data aggregated at different forms till the donor from source to destination. So are we is organizations being able to show that level of data today, right? Do you have a system where from source, if you collect, can you immediately present it to the donor? I know that there is a lot of filtration and a lot of data correction, or cleaning which needs to be done till it reaches the donor state, but can we ensure that the data source is unique? um, at this point, I just want to take a quick pause. So meeting says that my video is paused because of internet issues. Can you hear me fine till now? Can all of you give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear me fine? And if there are any questions, do post in the chat or the comment section as well. Right. Awesome. Thank you, folks. So, so first is ensuring there is a single source of truth. Second is ensuring there is less data redundancy. Data redundancy is having the same data in multiple places. So if you're collecting student data once, and if you're collecting student data again during assessment stage, then you have two copies of your student data, which is, like creating duplicacies already. So we need to ensure there is less data dependencies. Third is data need to be available to different stakeholders at different forms. So how do we aggregate the same? So my assessment data should be available to my teachers, my program managers, etc. So these are the three things that we need to think of when we talk about data storage. And your database will have data from multiple sources. It should also allow you. Zoho Creator currently allows you to import data from any number of data sources, be it cloud, be it local. You can import Excel, export to Excel. So Zoho Creator offers the capability of that. And also Zoho is one of the few organizations which has very high standards for security and data protection. So they were one of the few organizations which were implemented GDPR even before it was came to India. It has high level security of HIPAA, etc. So Zoho as a platform has very high security standards in terms of data privacy and security. And also Zoho does not send data externally, unlike Google, where the data is projected to advertisements, etc. Zoho is a privacy-centric organization where none of the data is shared to third parties as well. So, and even to show data, control data visibility for different users, so you can configure permissions where different users. So as a manager, I can see certain data. As a program level staff, I can see certain data, something that can be configured in the user level itself. So this is about data visibility. And you can integrate to more than 600 plus applications in Creator. And also if the integration is not readily available, you can also integrate via APIs. So any application which has the API support can be integrated directly with Zoho Creator. So that's how we've done a lot of integrations. So now, okay, interesting. Now I've collected data, I've collected stored, but how do I process this data? How do I report this data? So some of the questions that Eva is currently thinking is, okay, what do I need to do? Student need to attend assessments. When they attend assessments, their details should be auto-populated. And also, once they attend the assessment, they should be able to see their results as well. And now Eva is also thinking, now that I'm automating assessment and the correction is also automated, can I send the results of assessment in students via WhatsApp? That is something that Eva is thinking. And then Eva is also thinking, who else should see this result? Whom else should I share this with? Should I share with my program manager? Should I share with my school team, peers, etc.? So Eva is thinking all of this. And so a few of the things which she's thinking is, when will I do these workflows, right? So on a form action, do I send a notification, or do I have an approval? Do I have a payment workflow? So in Zoho Creator, you can automate any number of workflows which is there, and at different points. So a form action meaning when a student is typing something, you can write a workflow to do something. Computation meaning auto computed fields, where if you want to populate the marks of the student. Validation is to eradicate any wrong entry, or something which where someone enters a number in a text field, something like that. Permissions is who should see the data. So you have Zoho Creator has a lot of focus to creating workflows. And one of the on a lighter note, right? Why do something when you can automate? So if a computer can do certain things, why would you want to do it manually, right? So that is the simple logic that I want to bring in here. Let computers and systems take care of the boring work, and as humans, let's do more, deep work, where which is creating impact in our work. So let's do that and let the boring work be done by systems. And data aggregation at different stages flows like this, right? At student level, at a teacher level, trainer level, program manager, lead, state lead, national lead. So this is the flow how data aggregates in different stages. And when you have a single source of truth, right? For example, here, if you see, most of them are just going to see student data, but student data will be aggregated in different forms for different stakeholders. As a teacher, I want to see how my students are performing, but as a teacher trainer, I want to see how my teachers are performing against my student outcomes. As a program manager, I want to see how my different schools are performing. As a program lead, I want to see how at a program level my uh, my indicators are doing against student outcomes. Similarly, at a state and national level. So this is how data is aggregated, and for data to be aggregated, right, it's important that the data stays in a single source of truth for us to connect and do the necessary analytics. And next is you'll be creating reports. So there are different types of reports which be created in Zoho Creator, be it a list report, be it a map report, or be it a Kanban report where you want to see status-wise reports. So you can just create reports at easy with ease, and you can also export it to Excel if that is more convenient for further analytics as well. So when we report and when we visualize, right, so next immediate need which comes by is analytics and dashboarding. So, okay, I've collected data, I've stored the data, I've automated most of my processes, and now what do I do, right? So another next step is where we visualize, analyze, and collaborate to take better decisions. So this is the last part of our data stack where we all the data which is being collected is uh, put into visualized stories. So you can unite all your data sources. And here, important point to notice, it's not only creator data that you can integrate, right? You can bring in data from other sources as well and integrate it with your dashboard. So that's the extensibility the platform offers. And you can create any number of charts, any type of charts with the use of different types of mechanisms which are there, web chart, bubble, funnel, etc. Based on the need, each of these charts are used for different purposes. And then you get beautiful dashboards which you can then present to your leadership. And if you see right from the start where the student data or the field level data is there till this analytics, there is no manual intervention which is needed, and at the end your data is presented in the form of dashboards. And to top it up further, right? So Zoho has a Zia, just like Siri, where you can do voice-based, text-based analytics as well, where you can show, how are my students performing across different grade levels, and you can train your voice models accordingly, and you can do literally voice-based analytics, right? And imagine, so when I say Zoho is a research-oriented organization, this is the kind of research that they do to come up with more intuitive or easy ways for us to get things done. So yeah, and some of the dashboards as samples that I wanted to show is, word cloud or KPIs, which is there, or like not only related to program data, but this is an example of a procurement. If your nonprofit does a lot of procurement, you have vendor data, you have POs, goods received, etc. You can instantly create how your different stages are and have a dashboard, which will be your operations as well. And finally, Eva is feeling happy and empowered, right? So she was able to think digitally, improve efficiency, also take data-driven decisions thanks to Zoho Creator. So this is how Eva would transform her data from end to end with the help of Zoho Creator. Um, Another few effective use cases which I'll quickly run through in the interest of time, um, where I've also seen some of the questions for what are the interesting use cases how Zoho Creator can be leveraged. Is one is WhatsApp integration, definitely. So we've had programs where we done WhatsApp based chatbot integration, and some of you might be familiar with Glyphic, which is another powerful platform for chatbots, which itself is a separate webinar. But using Glyphic, we did configured a WhatsApp chatbot where the data flows from Glyphic to Zoho Creator, and in Zoho Creator, further analytics was made. So that is one use case which we've done. Second is designing beautiful templates, right? So this is an example of how nonprofits can issue donation receipts, which are not only like good looking but also brag worthy. So you give a donation receipt to a user which they feel proud of having. So you can design very beautiful templates. And not only for this, if you're running a volunteer based program, you can design certificates, you can design receipts, etc., which can be auto sent to your beneficiaries or donors or whoever. Next is, Zoho Creator also offers the capability of integrating your custom UI frameworks to the application. So this is a more development specific where if you're not happy with the UI that Creator offers, you can create your own UI and link it to Creator. So some of the use cases that we've done is, in front of you where we've integrated a different UI to Creator. very customized reports. If you have a education based organization, and if you want to see how my assessment planning is done, how my program manager dashboard should look like, any customized reports, dashboards pages can be created so that all of your data is on one page. So learning outcomes, standards, etc. So these are rubric based dashboards is something that can be done. Another use case is configurable surveys. So if you have a survey where your questions are not fixed but dynamically rendered, and you want user to attempt the question, that's also possible, where you can create a separate database of questions and render questions to let the user answer. Cascading dropdowns, right? Very popular use case in one of the use cases in nonprofits is how do you develop cascading dropdowns? And what is cascading dropdowns? If I'll take a couple of minutes to say that, is imagine you're uh, having a uh, having a a survey where you have different states and district data to be collected, and first you'll be selecting the country, and when you select the country, the states in the country are auto populated, and when you collect the state, and then for the given state, what are the districts which are there, which is auto populated. And even in nonprofits, right, when we talk about cascading, there is a lot of use cases for cascading where imagine I select a school, and who are the teachers in that school, and if I select teacher, can I auto populate the students who are there in that particular thing? So cascading dropdowns can be created with ease in Zoho Creator with an option called filter. Um, and goes without saying, all the applications that you develop will be deployed across mobile and web as well. So if you develop in web first, it's automatically rendered in mobile as well, so anyone can use it. Some of the case studies of how organizations have been leveraging Zoho Creator is, so first is Nudge Foundation through their program called the Future Perfect program, where they train underprivileged youth and make them job ready. We've developed an application which will take care of end-to-end data management applications of that particular program, right from admissions, operations, batching, learning and development to graduations and retention. So and one of the powerful things which happened during the program, we built it over 1 year, and we saw how scale happens, right? So during the start, we had around 1,000 students were enrolled to the program, and within 6 months, we saw around 40,000 students a month enrolling to the program, right? And the platform was able to handle that scale with ease. So and the platform is also integrated with different applications, like as you can see. And this was the impact, right? So far 40,000 plus students who've been enrolled, 1,000 plus users from employees of Nudge who have been using this application, 5 lakh plus students, and estimated around, like 60,000 hours at least saved per month, which was otherwise spent on manual work. With Bhumi, what we are doing, so Bhumi is one of the largest non-volunteering organizations in India, and we are working to streamline the end-to-end volunteering journey with an application that we are building. So Bhumi runs different programs where volunteers can participate, and our application's goal is to see how to give a good user experience for volunteers to be part of different programs, how to see their own impact, and how they can monitor their progress over time. So that is something that we are building with Bhumi currently. Um, Another use case is Toy Bank, where Toy Bank is an organization which teaches children SEL skills via play. They provide gaming kits to schools, and they select schools as partners, and then also offer training programs where um, they will use the kits to train the students and develop the necessary skills. And we've built an integrated application for them to automate all of these processes, right? So selecting partner, onboarding, registration, conducting play sessions, assessment, engagement. So this is something that we've done. And all of this, right? So when we talk about all of these case studies, all great, but what does it come as a pricing, right? What does it cost? So Zoho Creator, when I say it's affordable, it starts at 1,000 rupees per user per month, right? So it actually is the most affordable platform as far as we know. It starts from 1,000 per user, where organizations can even start for free. There's a free plan where individuals can log in and use for free. But then the paid plan starts from 1,000 per user. And when it comes to discounts and offers which are available for nonprofits in Zoho Creator, is so one is Zoho for Startups credit. So Zoho for Startups is a program where Zoho provides startup credits for startups to get into the Zoho stack. They provide 1.5 lakhs of free credits, and our partnership with them will enable nonprofits also get a similar discount. So any nonprofit startup who have been registered in the last 3 years, which has been legally incorporated and is not enrolled to any of the paid plans of Zoho, can avail Zoho for Startups credits from EdZola. So one of the steps to, if you want to avail that offer, you can just email us, reach us at edzola.com, and we can help you get it processed. So there is an eligibility conditions there, but once the eligibility is through, you can be eligible for the credits. So this 1.5 lakhs of credits, right? So it's around 1.86 lakhs. This can be used for any Zoho product. It's not only for creator, but any Zoho product. And the wallet credits are valid for a period of 1 year. So 1 year, whether you use it or not, it will expire at the end of 1 year. So you can email to us with details. We can help you get the credits. Second interesting opportunity for organizations to leverage Zoho Creator is, so NASCOM Foundation in partnership with TechSoup and Zoho is providing 50% discount for eligible nonprofits. So what is the eligibility is nonprofits with valid FCRA certificate. So you need to be able to get give an FCRA certificate and registered with NASCOM Big Tech program for you to get this discount. And it's a 50% discount in Zoho Creator, which is a great discount in my opinion. And it is capped at a maximum listing of 10 users. So up to 10 users is when you'll get this discount. And last partnership, right? So if an organization is not eligible for the first two, but still, wants to leverage. So EdZola as a partner with Zoho can provide up to, 15% discount on annual plans on the list price, which is given in the website. So again, the eligibility here is they should be registered nonprofit and they should not be existing paying subscriber of Zoho. And here another requirement is Zoho has a lot of partners like us. So if you're tagged to another partner already, then we might not be able to apply the discount to you. So that is another opportunity where you can avail discount. So these are the three offers which are available for nonprofits. We'll be even sending this collateral, this PPT with the email so that you can refer to this and go through it in detail. So, okay, I purchased a subscription, but who will help me in setting up all of this, right? So, our team at EdZola, we are currently a 15-member team strong, and we have over 10,000 hours of Zoho development, which we've done in the last couple of years. So, right from discovery call, right from understanding what your needs are, to doing a tech validation, to requirement gathering, to your purchase, development, maintenance, and support, we'll be there in every stage of your journey. So that is why that is how EdZola can help you digitally transform. And last, if there is any doubts, right, at any point, we are also starting a WhatsApp community where any organization who wants their doubts quickly clarified on Zoho and wants to we are building a community of nonprofits who want to leverage Zoho and also broadly tech. We're starting a community. So if you're interested, you can Shiny, can you run the poll? So if you're interested, we'll add you post this webinar to the WhatsApp group so that you can post your Zoho related queries in that group. Shiny, could you run the survey for Zoho for Impact?
It's on, Akshay. It's on.
Okay. Awesome. Right. Yeah. So thank you, folks, for that. I think we have around 36 people who voted. No. Yeah. We'll wait for a few more minutes for you to complete that so that we can add you to the group based on your consent. And last but not the least, as we progress is we have a lot of resources that we'll be sending, which is there on our website as well, where you can leverage how to, data management, how to, automate tech, etc., which will be sending it across. And yes, that's it from our side, folks. Hope this webinar was helpful for you to understand the different stages of data stack and how you can leverage Creator for the same. And if you think about it, it's not only about Creator, but this process is the same for any organization as well. Any platform that you take is the same. So any questions? I'll take a few questions now. If there is any questions, which we can answer. And if you like this webinar, please do like react or give us a shout out in social media if you like this webinar. We'll also be publishing this webinar in YouTube so that you can share it with your friends in nonprofits who would benefit from this, or you could recommend us to us. Yes, Guru Kiran asks a question on, is there a maintenance fee? So Zoho Creator platform does not have a maintenance fee per se, Guru Kiran. It's just the platform fee that you'll need to pay towards this thing. Is there is no other fees. So there is a GST component which is there, but other than that, there is no other fees that Zoho Creator charges. But let's say we are going into developing an application which is taking a year to develop, and then we have constant issues from your team, which is there. That is when our team, so EdZola will have a dedicated tech team for you for your organization, and there will be a maintenance and support fees for that. I hope that clarifies. Do we have customization to our use case to use case with the entire Zoho stack? So entire Zoho stack, so there is Zoho 1 use cases that we've already published in our website, Sharda. And we are, if you have any specific use cases, right, you can put them on the chat. Maybe we can write a blog or do a video or a separate webinar for that also in the coming days. Okay, I have more questions. Yes, we'll be sharing this presentation slide definitely. As per user pricing, anyone filling out the data will not be qualified as user. You can publish the form and just like Google form, you can send it out. So those won't be qualified as user. Anyone who's developing and using this application internally, who has access to the data, etc., will be treated as the user. Can I have a discovery call to understand my nonprofit requirement and fulfilled with Creator? Yes, definitely. So Shiny, could you post the Calendly link here? So we do a free consultation calls for organization who want to explore any tech. So that is, Shiny will share the link. If anyone wants to talk, we can schedule a call, and you can also email us at reachus@edzola.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Yes, any other questions which I have not answered yet? Is the user the organization or the beneficiary? It's the organization, Mira. It's not the beneficiary. So if you want the beneficiaries to also use the system, there is something called as portal users. Guided chatbot, again, Sharda, it is depending on how you want the chatbot to be. Is it a web-based chatbot and WhatsApp-based chatbot, etc.? The short answer is yes. The longer answer is we need to see how complex or complicated it can get this thing, but it is possible to build chatbots on Zoho as well. So we are at 4:59 now. Any more questions, folks? Which is there? So I'll be here. What do you exactly mean by portal users? So Hitesh, portal users are. I'll give you a business example. For nonprofits, it can be a little different. But as a business, if I'm running a business with, let's say, 100 employees, and I have 500 vendors and 500 customers who want to access this data. They want to either update the inventory or update an invoice, or access some of my data, but I don't want them to use the entire data. So they just want access to update the data at one point or the other. So those are portal users who have access to the system. So portal users are cheap. Let's say, like Zoho Creator offers, I think, at rupees 8 or something per portal user. This thing where you have access to access the data and edit the data. You cannot create applications, or you cannot do any admin level functionalities in portals. For a non-profit, right? If I have to give you an example of how portal users can be used, even with the examples that I've gave you. So for Boomi, volunteers are not employees. They are people who access the application periodically whenever they go on a field visit. So they are portal users who will have access to the data which is there, go there, edit there, see their own data, and then log off. So those are portal users. And for organizations which have more than, like let's say example like Teach for India, where fellows form the majority of the component. We want to give fellows all the data, and we have 3,000 fellows and 5,000 alumni. Then we could explore portal as an option to give them access, because portal will ensure it is authenticated. You can log in only via your email ID and not public, and also gives some level of data restriction. At the same time, it is not a huge burn in the wallet in when we purchase a per user pricing. So I hope that gives you some level of clarity. Okay. What is the difference between Zoho Creator and other Zoho apps? So Zoho apps has very specific use case, specific applications where to cater to specific use. Zoho Creator is, if none of those use cases match, you come to Zoho Creator to build your own application. It's as simple as that. Zoho Creator, you can create your own application, whereas in other, for example, Zoho Payroll is used for payroll processing. Zoho CRM is used for your sales process. But it's a longish answer, but I hope this gives you a very broad overview. What is the difference between, yeah, I think that's the same question. Any more question, folks? I just want to say thank you to all of you who've turned up. We've had a great turnout and we've had great participation in this webinar. I hope this was helpful. Our team will send out the, yes. Thank you, Ashwini, for that. If you have any further questions, our team will be sending out collaterals and link as well. Do reach out via email or as well. We will definitely get back to you. So thank you, folks. I'll wait for. Thank you, Meera. Thank you, Sharda. Thank you, Ashwini. Also, folks, Shiny has sent a feedback link in the chat. So it would be great if you can take a couple of minutes to just fill the form before we leave. We'll be sending out the same form link in chat as well. But request all of you if you can spare a couple of minutes now to just fill it, so that we'll know how we can improvise further as well. Janish will be sending it as soon as possible. After within today, you'll receive the presentation link. Yes. Thank you, folks. Have a good day. See you on the other side. Thank you. Bye bye.